So, hello and welcome to today's episode of Vital, Vivacious, and Visible After 50. And my wonderful guest today is Carol Parker Walsh, and she comes with quite an interesting background and experience. Carol has a JD. She was a practicing attorney in employment law, and she has a PhD in human development. And now she is a personal fashion consultant and one of the few people in the world who practices fashion feng shui. And we have got to know about that later, Carol. So, hello and welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thank you. It's so great to be here.
Thank you. So what I want to know is, and this is such an interesting thing, your best-selling book is called The Second Act,
Mhm.
and that could be the title of this entire series. I've said this to some of our other guests before because almost every one of the people that I'm interviewing has had a full and rich life doing something
Mhm.
or a couple of things, or being a parent or having a corporate career, or and then going in a completely different direction,
Yes.
going back to school for higher education, going into the arts, writing a
Mhm.
book. So I want to know what that transition was for you and when it happened.
Yeah, yeah. Well, for me, my transition happened a few years ago, right before I turned 50. And I feel like I've had several kind of transitions, if you will. So I practiced law for, oh goodness, 10 or so years. And then I decided to go back for my PhD, and I was a professor, an academic, and an associate dean. And then somewhere around a few years, about a year before I turned 50, I really started thinking about what else I wanted to do and really bringing all of my skills back together to make them make sense. So, for me, fashion had really always been there. Right. My mother was the consummate fashionista. I'd been around style. This woman, when my father was in the military, she lived in Germany. So she would travel to Paris and see the latest fashions. And she would not go to the mailbox without her hair, makeup, and clothes being impeccable. So I'd always been around it, and initially that's what I wanted to do, was to have a career in fashion and retail. And I
Uh-huh.
started that journey, but being children of parents of the Depression, that did not quite seem like a viable career opportunity. So I took a business law class, and that set my path somewhere different. But what I realized is, as I went, beyond my career, when I was an associate dean, I started selling jewelry on a part-time basis, which
For sure.
reintroduced me to this fabulous world of fashion. And I was exhilarated. And what I realized, the thing that really stuck for me was the connection that women were making between what they put on their bodies and how they were feeling about themselves.
Hmm.
And that was really powerful to me. So everything I've studied, all of my doctoral work, had always been looking at women's health and the determinants or the obstacles to help us realize our fabulousness and how that impacts our health and well-being. But this time I was able to do it in a much more concrete, hands-on way, if you will. And it wedded both my love of fashion and my desire to help women be the best versions of themselves and feel fabulous about themselves together. And it started me on this journey. I'd already been certified as an image consultant and a color analyst. And so I was able to really bring everything, all of my skills, all of my passion, all of my knowledge full circle to be able to support women in this aspect and transition of their life. So looking at how they style themselves, understanding who they are, having embracing and loving who they are, and then styling that body in a way that reflects who they are so that they then can present themselves to the world in terms of who they are right now. And so for me, that's part of the journey that enables you to move to that second act, if you will, of your life.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. On your website, you talk, and I've been stalking your website. I've been following your posts, and we'll talk about that. We're going to send our readers to your website too.
Okay.
But you talk about embracing, loving, and dressing the body you have now. And this
Yeah.
is such a huge topic
Yes.
because we know the hormonal changes,
Yes.
we know what
Yes.
happens, and
Yes.
the body we had, 30 years ago is not the one we have now.
Exactly.
And I see so many women who get tortured by that, and it's
Mhm.
unfortunate
Yes.
and doesn't
Yes.
need to be, and it's sort of
Exactly.
counterproductive. So talk a
Yeah.
little bit about that and some of your client work and
Oh yeah, yeah. It's unfortunate that we are living in a world that tends to shame and put down you as a woman for not looking like some fictitious ideal of a 20-something-year-old, because even that person doesn't look like
That's right.
the way the media portrays them, the way they change noses and lines and things of that nature. But for me, embracing you who you are, loving who you are, is about being appreciative of who you are and what your body looks like right now. We all talk about, well, maybe if I could lose a few pounds, or if I change my hair, or if I, all these if conversations that we do to ourselves, which only serve to guilt us, shame us, and make us feel even worse than we really should feel. So I'm all about age positivity and confidence, and body positivity and confidence, and embracing where you are right now, loving that body right now. I have a couple more rolls on my tummy than I would like, but I'm a mother of 3 children. And so
Wow.
that's like an honor badge for me.
Yeah.
And, I have a few little extra things here and a few little crow feet there. But for me, that's a badge of honor that I'm still here, that I'm still living. The first time I was affected by someone close to me dying, I was 16 years old. So think about, I've lived beyond that. I've had this glorious life, and every battle scar, if you will, that I have on me is a reflection of a well-lived life. And I think that's the way we really should think about it, is that these things are marks of a successful path in life, really moving through that journey in life. And all of these things are just showing you what you've accomplished and what you've done over the last few years. So embracing, to me, is really about accepting where you are, loving where you are. And the thing that's true, and I found this with my clients, when you begin to love and accept where you are right now, you do begin to change things in your body. When you start putting wonderful things on, you feel fabulous. And then when you feel fabulous, you move differently, you walk differently. And then maybe you decide to, take the stairs instead of taking the elevator. Or maybe you decide to eat a little bit more fruit, or drink a little bit more water. Or maybe you just make those decisions around other aspects of your life that are going to just make you that much better, that much healthier, that much more vibrant, and that much more you. And so if you start, though, with loving yourself, because the adage that you can't love anyone else until you love yourself is very true. You can't do anything great for yourself if you don't love yourself. You don't feel that you're worthy, or you won't reward yourself, or you won't give yourself the things that you should have, meaning a great outfit, or great things to wear, the things that you eat, the things that you do, your activities, the things that will really keep you around and keep you healthy and longer, and have a longer lifespan. You won't do those things if you don't first love yourself, right? Because you won't treat yourself in the way that you deserve to be treated. So that is what I mean, about embracing your significance, loving yourself, and loving and accepting your body where it is right now. And then when you're ready to change it. But until then, love where it is, embrace where it is, and be grateful for what it's doing for you right now in your life.
Absolutely. Boy, I so 100% agree with that. I was talking with Paula Jessup last week. She has a website called Bombshell Bliss, which is great fun. And she is a bombshell. And that what you said about battle scars was so true, because she asked me why European women, what it is that they have. And I thought about it later after, I can't remember what I responded. But when you go to Europe, that's a world that has lived through a lot of battles.
Yes,
And the people there don't have that similar kind of, oh, everything's perfect,
exactly.
that we do here,
Exactly.
or we
That's
try to do
exactly
here.
right. That's exactly right.
And so the women there reflect that collective sort of consciousness. And
Yes,
so they're not battle weary. They're
right.
just, this is who I am, this is what I've lived through, and it's all good.
Yeah, it's like it's a badge of honor. It's, look at me, look at my life. I've had this extraordinary life. I've gone to Europe several times, and you do see women who are, in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, who look amazing, and they don't care what people think, because they have earned the right to be who they are, and to put out their authentic style, and to have their voice be heard and be seen. I mean, they've earned that, and I think we all have that as women. I mean, we do so much and have gone through so much. And it's important for us to acknowledge that and to not let that be a hindrance, but let it be a support and something that uplifts you as you move forward in life. That is
That's
so true.
beautiful. That's beautiful. So, talk about some of the obstacles that we face, and uh, some of the women that you've worked with, how you've worked through those obstacles with them
Mhm.
visually, how you dress their body now, just what you do.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, the first thing that I do is really help them to determine their authentic style. You know, what is it about you? We really go through an appreciative process of what makes you fabulous. What do you love about yourself? What do you admire? What are the things that you've accomplished that you love? When you look in the mirror, what are the things that you see that you're like, yes, no one has that, and I look amazing. And
Hmm.
those are the things that we start at that place, and those are the things that we augment and build upon. So we don't look at anything that we don't necessarily like. I mean, there be things like, I hear women talk about their arms, or they talk about their tummy, or they, don't want to show their neck, or, there's other things. But I try to move them away from looking at the things that they want to hide to embracing and showing off the things that they love. And when you start doing that, the things that you want to hide all of a sudden don't become so significant in your mind anymore. So we begin by looking there and do this appreciative process. And then we just look at body shapes and styles and silhouettes and fabrics and colors that really represent and resonate with who you are. Because there's no cookie cutter style or sense of fashion that everyone should subscribe to.
Right.
Everyone has their own unique, authentic style, and we look at print sizes and patterns and accent colors and all these things to really bring about your personal kind of archetype and your own personal sense of style, and then we begin to dress you from there. And it's just a wonderful process. And the women that I've worked with, at the end just say how fabulous they felt, how they never thought they could look this way, how they
Oh.
never thought they could feel this way, that they never would have showed this part of their body before, but they actually look pretty good, in it, because, I do teach a little camouflaging, and how using, shadow and color and patterns to, kind of camouflage the things that you may not want to see. But when you highlight and focus on the fabulous aspects of your body, it totally shifts and changes your idea about what you can wear and what you can't wear. And that's one of the biggest things I do. And that's the thing that helps women overcome the obstacles about their ideas of what they can and can't wear.
That's beautiful. Yeah, some of the most, and I mentioned this to one of the other people the other day, some of the most beautiful, fashionable, and juicy women I know have extra pounds.
Yeah.
Um, it's grounding, it's
Mm-hmm.
sexy,
Mm-hmm.
it's in the Ayurvedic system of medicine, it's more kapha, which they say still waters run deep,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it's not frenetic. And I
Yes.
just think it's, and I have the opposite problem. I'm one of those people who has trouble gaining weight.
Mm.
And when I see women who embrace that juiciness of them, I'm
Yeah.
a little bit envious.
Yeah. Yeah. But the beautiful thing is that we all have it, because I work with women who, have what people would look upon as like the perfect figure. Oh my goodness, I'm sure people look at you and say, "Oh, I wish I had that problem," right? But they don't realize that we all have our own individual things that we're working
That's
with, and
right.
so we have to process those in a way that makes sense for us and dress our bodies in a way that will let us still feel fabulous, regardless of that place. I mean, there's been a number done on us as women about what we should look like, and there's no shoulds. I remember I was working with one client, and someone asked her, I think I was working with her color and body shape, and someone asked her, "So, what are you? Like, what's your season, or what's your, that type of thing?" And she said, I'm going to use a different name. She said, "I'm just a Tammy."
I
And I
love that.
love that she responded to that, because she was herself. She was saying, "I am who I am. My style is me. It's not some classification or category, and I really hate those. It really is about the best version of you." And so that really touched me. She put that on Facebook. I saw the conversation, and I absolutely loved it.
I love that too. I'm a Tammy. I'm an
Yeah,
Andrea.
yeah, exactly,
Um,
exactly.
Talk about some of the biggest mistakes that people make um, when they don't like what they see in the mirror.
The biggest mistake is hiding. The biggest mistake is, well, there are two: wearing black. For some
Mm,
reason, that's one of the biggest challenges I have sometimes going into closets is I see it filled with black because it's simple, it's easy. The idea of, oh, it's so slimming that everyone goes toward black, and only 50% of the population can really wear black. So,
that's right.
so if you imagine that many people wearing it and wearing things that don't fit, having
Mm,
things that are too big, too loose, too baggy, too tight, even, are very problematic. And so, because of the color of black and poor fit, that tends to send people on this idea that they can find nothing to wear. What is true is that the fashion industry cuts clothes to fit one particular body structure, and none of us have that body structure.
that's
So,
right.
so literally about 80 to 90% of the things that you would go in a store and try on are not going to fit you perfectly because your body does not fit that. So I talk a lot about, tailoring and ignoring the tag in the garment, and tailoring and getting something that actually fits your body the way it should fit your body, because that's the key: finding fit, overcoming the challenge of finding what fits you properly, and getting into the colors that represent who you are, and getting away from black, particularly if it's not something that should be in your palette, are really the two of the biggest things that, I think that trips people up. They think I just need to go bigger, tighter, or black.
Right.
And none of those are right.
That's fantastic. And that's, boy, I just check. Yes, yes. um, Now, that, there's sort of two camps here about economics. There are some older women who have had successful careers and now have a lot of disposable income. That's one of my concerns because a lot of designers aren't recognizing this is a big demographic. You can make a lot
Absolutely.
of money off of us. Please
Absolutely.
design for us. And then the other thing is there are a number of older women who are on a pretty strict budget.
Yeah.
So how do you work with women who really don't have a lot of expendable income
Yeah.
to redesign themselves?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you would be surprised how much you can shop in your closet. And by
Uh,
repurposing what you already have, and saving some of the things you have, maybe something could be, maybe there's a sleeve that was a long sleeve that we can cut it and make it a 3/4 sleeve. Maybe
yeah,
there's a color that may not be your optimal color, but just by putting a scarf around your neck or a piece of jewelry, it will reflect very differently upon your face. um, so there's a lot. We could change hemlines and skirts. You can get things dyed and colored, all of which are not costly alternatives to changing and updating your wardrobe. And accessories, oh my goodness, I cannot speak enough about what an accessory can do to totally revitalize and change your wardrobe. A different pair of shoes, a couple of pair of scarves, and some different necklaces or earrings can make a huge difference. Changing your hair, adding a color, doing a cut, changing your glasses. These are some things that really all are very, very powerful. It can make a huge difference and take a ho-hum wardrobe to something that's wow and fabulous. Adding a belt where maybe you've worn a dress that just straight, but you put a belt on it and a colorful belt and a different pair of shoes with it, and voila, you have something entirely different. So I totally get budgets, and I first talk to women about their budgetary needs and their limitations and restrictions, and we absolutely work in that. I first try to see what do you have in your closet and what really resonates and what works and what doesn't. Because if we do that first, then we may not need to shop. And then we may need to shop. I had some clients who said, I'm throwing everything out. We're just shopping. And God bless them for
that's
being in a
fun.
position to do that. That is fun. And I've had other clients who said, I just need to figure out how to make what I have work, and we can do that too, just with adding a few things here and there. I mean, you think about, even in your own home, if you rearrange your furniture in your home, it makes it an entirely different room. It's the same thing with your clothes. If you repurpose them and recreate them in a way that makes sense for you, or just changes or ups your style just a bit, it makes a huge difference. And there are always sales, and there's always places to find things at considerably inexpensive pricing. So yeah, there's definitely ways to do that. without having to totally redo your budget or bankrupt yourself trying to go shopping.
Do you? I was actually trying to find some people who talk about vintage shopping. Do you ever take any clients to any of the vintage shops?
Yeah, there are a couple of vintage shops. I live here in Vancouver, so there's a couple of vintage shops that I do take people to. I also teach people how to go through, how to find even Goodwills and things like that. You'd be surprised at the finds that you have. Some of that is about location. So if you find one in a location that tends to be around an affluent area, more than likely the things that they are donating to those places, I mean, you'll find Michael Kors, you'll find Chanel, you'll find Gucci. You'd be shocked how much you find at either consignment stores or vintage shops. And so absolutely I do. I have one client who's very much into vintage, the 50s look, and she really likes that kind of retro 40s, 50s kind of style. And there is a vintage shop here that actually specializes in that type of look.
Oh,
And
nice.
so it's nice. So I do a lot of, I have a list of so many different stores and so many different places, both online and brick and mortar, that I can expose to my clients so they can find something that really makes sense for them. Yeah. So it gives me an opportunity to curate from a lot of different places.
Do you ever, when you're shopping around and looking at the new things that come in, do you ever say, "Oh my God, that would be perfect for so and so," and then
Yes,
call them? You do.
absolutely, absolutely. I usually will send them a link or send them the actual picture and say, we were just working in your closet. We were talking about this. This would be a great addition for you. But I try to do it in a way, not just buy this because it's great and it would fit, but because we were talking about part of your journey, we were talking about your goals, we were talking about what you want to accomplish in life, and this would be something that would really augment where you're trying to go. So not to shop for shopping's sake,
Right.
but to definitely find something that's going to fit in to then take you to that next place that you want to go to in life. Yeah, so it's purposeful shopping, I call it.
A friend of mine is becoming a life coach, and one of the things that she always says is dress for the person you want to be 3 years from now.
Hmm.
In other words, you're setting yourself up. You're you're
Absolutely.
you're sort of living your goal right now.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. I always say you dress the best version of yourself. So
That's
whatever that looks like and whatever that means for you, that's what we go for. And again, it's not this outside idea of that is something that comes really from within with who you are and what it is that you specifically want to accomplish and achieve in your business and in your life.
wonderful. So now I am so curious. When I first got my book out, I had a reader from, I don't know if it was New Zealand or Australia, who did fashion feng shui.
Ah,
You
yes.
must tell us about what
Yes.
fashion feng shui is and how you
Yes,
got
I'm
into
Beverly
it.
Cole. I know Beverly. Beverly is in New Zealand.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, she's fabulous. Love her.
Beverly Cole. Right.
Yes, yes, absolutely love her. Well, fashion feng shui is really an innovative dressing technique, and it borrows the principles of feng shui, which we know is the ancient art of placement, for your home and your business, and which says that, depending on where you place things, you'll have a balanced and harmonious and healthy life. So, what fashion feng shui
I
does is
love
borrow
it.
the principles of feng shui and applies them to the most intimate of environments, which is your body, right? So, you may have a home and move things around and it feels fabulous where you're living or where you're working, but when you leave, what happens, right? So the most intimate of environments for you is your body. So we want to make sure that the art of placement, if you will, where you place your clothes, what you're wearing, really are aligned to who you are and to your goals and objectives so that you too will have a happy, harmonious, and healthy lifestyle. What we do is that it really sets us apart from traditional image consulting, which I've been trained in. It's much more detailed and intense because we're looking at you holistically, and we're synergizing mind, body, and spirit, and translating that into your appearance and into your clothing and what you wear. And we use the five elemental languages of nature: fire, water, wood, earth, and metal.
Mm.
And we translate those into an archetype, if you will, and use those characteristics to find your authentic style, and to help you to effectively accomplish your intention and achieve your goals and your dreams in life. So that's really, the heart and the foundation of fashion feng shui. And every one of us has a characteristic that's very much akin to one of the natural elements in nature. And so when we look at how it operates in the world, we see the impact and influence that that would have on you, and make sure that the energy that you're trying to bring into your own life and what you want to project to the world is accomplished through the things that you place on your body.
What a fantastic concept.
Oh, it's amazing. For me, um, with my studies, I mean, I studied analytical psychology. I studied Jungian psychology. If anyone has ever taken a Myers-Briggs or any one of those tests, all of those tests are designed to ferret out your unconscious self and who you really are, that maybe you don't know or you don't put out there in the world as much, or you're acting it out but don't really realize it because it's kind of unconscious. Well, in a sense, what fashion feng shui does is really to help you hone into who you are authentically in relationship with the nature. Everything has energy. Everything has energy, in the air, in the table, in our clothes, and in our bodies. And so we want to make sure that we're putting energy that matches who we are onto our bodies so that we feel comfortable and we feel our best selves. And that's really the thing that it helps us do. It really helps to it really teaches you how to dress mindfully and how to be very thoughtful in what you place on your body, so that every day you're making conscious choices to engage in the world in the way that you want to engage in the world, so that what you put out, then you get back in what you're doing and what you're trying to do for the day. So,
That's
yeah.
so true. This
Yeah.
is this is fabulous. So I want to give you the last few minutes to talk a little bit about your services,
Yeah.
where you practice, and how people can get in touch with you, your website, and your book is called The Second Act by Dr.
Yes.
Carol Parker Walsh.
Yes, and
And
I have
so,
another book coming out soon.
oh,
It's called Your Clothes Speak, and
oh,
understanding and using the powerful language of your personal style. So
fantastic.
yeah, so I'm excited about. I've just finished working on that, so that's being edited. But yeah, I work to, like I said, I'm a little bit different than typical image consultants, and I really work, no matter what I'm doing with a client, to help them understand themselves and to help them live and realize the best versions of themselves. I do a fashion feng shui assessment with individuals. I can do custom color analysis. I am certified in that. In fact, I was certified by Beverly, um, to do custom color analysis. And what I try to provide is a 5-step process that really moves people from understanding themselves to evolving into the person that they really want to be. They can find me at evolvingYourImage.com. And my phone number as well is 360-606-9595. My email is carol.parkerwalsh. Nope, wrong one. It's carol at evolvingyourimage.com. I was giving
Okay.
my personal one. That's my business one. It's
I'm
carol
going to be
at evolving
posting
your
your
image.
website
Yeah.
on the thing anyway. So,
Yeah. So they can definitely find me there. I work with clients all over the world. I have clients in England, in New York, in Chicago, all over Oregon and Washington and California. So I actually can come to you. It's very easy to do that. I do a lot of things this way through Skype as well as in person.
great.
So yeah, that's about my services and what I can offer. And I love to help women feel and look fabulous, and that's what I specialize in doing.
I can tell that, Carol. And you look fabulous. Boy,
Oh,
you
thank you.
definitely know your color and your style and your persona. This has been just a real joy, every single
Oh,
second
thank
of it. So I want to thank you
you.
so much. And
Yes.
it's evolvingyourimage.com.
Mhm.
Dr. Carol Parker Wash, and keep your eyes open for her new book coming out. If you go to her website and sign up, she'll let you know when the new book is available.
Yes,
And I'm just delighted. And I just want to thank you again for joining us today.
absolutely. And thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Bye bye.
Bye bye.